And you might be surprised that why still poverty, why this topic. Of course, we're not trying to emphasize material wealth as something that would give us satisfaction. Neither that would be one of our highest goal. And of course, it's not really this material prosperity that would give us much of our fellowship and reach with our great God, but the rewarding fellowship of God is not hinged or is not dependent on poverty. In fact, even poor Christians or believers could still be joyful. But we're talking about this topic on a national scale. We're not talking about this on an individual scale, and I think that has been very clear. So, hindi po tayo, walang foreigner, ano? Walang foreigner. Baka si Dr. Cruz, sabi ko na yun, tataas ng kamay. Taga-Republic of Puto. Okay. Iba ang salita doon sa Republic of Puto. So I could shift back and forth to the local language. But of course, I'm not trying to emphasize that on a personal scale. So of course, this is based on the book by Wayne Grudem, who is a theologian, and Barry Asmus, who is an economist. And of course, why did I choose the topic? Because I myself personally is appalled, just like what I've said, with poverty. And in fact, last week lang, we have seen how devastating typhoons could affect a nation where there are so much poor people. And of course, I've shown this already to you, the poverty levels that we have in our country. It's still quite very high. And of course, the government is trying to address the issue. And I myself, being a forester, just like Dr. Cruz, who frequents the upland, and many of you who are going to the rural areas, we certainly would see massive poverty among communities. And of course, just real quick again, just for us to be grounded once again with the topic. Just like what I've said, it's national focus. We're not talking about individual poor people. The solution is not very simple. In fact, when I would be finished with this particular lesson, there would be something like about 72 suggestions. And then, of course, helping the poor is mandated in the Bible. It's commanded in the Bible. So it's one of the duties of Christians. And then material prosperity is just a secondary issue, just like what I've said. It's not something that we would want to overly emphasize, but it's because we just want to address a very relevant social, national issue. That's why we're trying to discuss this as one of the topics in Sunday school. And then, of course, we have seen that the goal to get out of poverty is to increase production of goods and services. And of course, if I may relate this to one of the lessons by Brother Rex on innovation, we can increase, of course, goods and services by being very innovative. And there are, of course, wrong systems. We have seen this. I won't go over them one by one, but we have seen that this doesn't work. And then we have also looked at the free market system as the better solution, where there are free choices among individuals, and it's not the government dictating what should be done, as in a socialist or authoritarian government. What happened? Okay. Where the means of production is dictated or owned by the government solely. And this is a quick description of what is a free market or a prosperous nation's economic system. It is a free market economy. Although, of course, as you probably would see later, it's sometimes erroneously labeled as capitalism. Kaya nga may mga nagpuprotesta, ibagsak daw ang imperialismo at kapitalismo sa bansa. Another characteristic of a prosperous nation's economic system is that there's widespread private ownership of property. The nation has an easy, quick process for people to gain documented, legally binding ownership of property, not much bureaucracy. The nation has stable currency. Kita natin, bumabagsak na naman ang peso against the dollar. The nation has relatively low tax rates. We have one of the highest tax rates Those in the government service, automatic, bawas kaagad ang ating withholding tax. The nation is annually improving what is so-called the International Index of Economic Freedom. And we have seen that relatively the Philippines is moderately free, not really very free. And of course, what we're trying to discuss is that the free market system it has its advantage in terms of its moral values. We will go later to the government of a free market system. So yung issue ng economic chacha, mas mag-focus natin siguro doon. And even the kind of freedom na meron po ang free market system, as well as the values. Magkaiba, ano yung mga values na meron yung free market system. Of course, we are discussing moral virtues. Medyo hinati natin kasi ang haba. There are actually 16 of this where it is categorized. The moral advantage categorized into one, which is promoting personal freedom. We saw that it promotes freedom of choice for moral actions. Pwede mong gawin what you believe morally is correct. You can pursue or promote freedom for the abstract of spiritual pursuits. Kaya nga dito hindi kinukulong ang mga pastor, mga misyonaryo sa ibang bansa. Hindi pwede yon. And then promoting personal values, it promotes personal integrity and truth-telling. So yung mga madayang merchants in the market, they're not patronized. And then of course, free market system promotes accountability. Pag hindi ka accountable, malulugi ang negosyo mo. And then of course, we have seen that free market also promotes earned success. Yun yung mahalaga. Hindi lang yung basta tumutubo, but earning success. And it moderates selfishness and greed. Babalikan natin actually yan ngayon, ano? Kasi one of the moral objections to free market, hindi ba there's competition, kailangan selfish ka at saka greedy ka. Hindi ganon, no? And free market also promotes the wise use of environment. We can see this in many of the developed, advanced countries that they are one of the best in terms of managing environment. And it curbs materialism and promotes personal charity. We know that many of these prosperous nations are really very generous in terms of helping the poor because they have the means. Then we also look at the interpersonal virtues like meeting the needs of others, which is of course one of the virtues of Christians. Prioritizing the wants of others, also treating others humanly and treating or truly helping the poor. No, nandun po siya. And then promoting the lesser values. We said we want, kahit lesser values yan, we want punctual service provider, courteous mechanics, or courteous sales lady, or waiter or waitresses. And then pag pinagawa mo yung kotse mo, hindi puro grasa yung manibela pagkatapos mo pagawa. No? And tidiness and a job well done. No? Pag hindi mo babalikan yung isang service provider that doesn't provide you the good job. So, what we'll be focusing now ay yung natitira pa in terms of societal values naman, which is shown there, hindi ko muna iisa-isa, and the moral objection. We finish it with the moral objections. Okay, in terms of promoting societal values, promoting a peaceful and harmonious society. Social harmony actually results from a market order that should be of great interest to those concerned with moral issues. An example na binigay ng libro, although it was something like 2011, ginamit niya ang New York, ano? Although of course, meron na akong question dito ngayon dahil iba ang situation sa New York. Accordingly, because New York is something like a melting pot in the US, accordingly, you don't observe the tribal religious wars like in Lebanon, Mogadishu, and other parts of the world, or even mentioning about African American, white and black people working together. And nakalagay pa nga dyan yung even the Jews working with the other even Palestinians. Ano? Although of course ngayon, kabi-kabila ang protesta sa Amerika. It's because the progressive left-leaning members of the society is really up in arms about so many things. So medyo nabago pa. But still, the free market, I believe, and even the authors believe that promotes these peaceful and harmonious conditions. Take this case, ano, yung free market, no, you would say, eh, hindi ba competitive yan, overly ambitious, kasi pag ikaw ay pakiemik-kieming manager of a business, may iwan ka, no? But we have to consider yung so-called difference between market solutions and political solutions on very contentious issues. Kasi iniisip natin kaagad, magulo yung mga yan, ano? But take the case of the Palestinian issues, Palestinian-Israel issues. It's a political situation or issue. So ang solution doon, political din. Hindi siya market. Yun ang dapat nating segregate. And versus yung issue about vegetarian or food issues. It's something like this, you know? Right now, just like what I've said, and you can see it all over the news, many campuses in the US are up in arms. Parang wala pa yata sa Pilipinas masyado, no? About these Palestinian issues. I really don't know. Wala pa naman sa UP. Hindi, merong isang aral nung sa UP. Nakita ko pala, nadaanan ko dun sa may gate. Ano? Meron na rin dito sa atin. But that's a political issue. Pero ano ba ang ibig mo sabihin na vegetarian or food issue? Bakit magkakaroon ng peaceful or harmonious situation doon? Okay, I don't know if there are people here who are vegetarian or ayaw kumain ng karne. No? Pero dito, merong mga matakaw sa karne. Tama ba ang tinignan ko? O, tumatango yung partner ng matakaw daw sa karne. Ano? But hindi nag-aaway yung vegetarian dito at saka yung carnivorous. Hindi mo makita dito na kahit may sabihin sa Sunday school, mali kayo na mga kumakain ng karne, mga etc. Or kami ang tama na vegetables lamang. Or they would have this food preference. In fact, you can even say, even in a supermarket, pag magtagpo sila, kahit magkahiwala yung vegetable section at saka meat section, kahit magkasalubong sila, hindi sila magbabakbakan. But what we see in the Palestinian issue or any Israel issue, on political issue, talaga nag-aaway sila. It's because it's a political problem, no? So, ihiwalay natin yung market solution, which is, of course, we're talking about the free market system, from the political issue. Kaya the free market is still a good system, no? Hindi ibig sabihin na dahil yun nga say for example in the US, free market system sila, bakit nag-aaway sila tungkol sa Palestinian saka Israel issue or even abortion or even the LGBTQ issue, because these are political issues where accordingly there are collective decisions. Doon sa market solution, these are individual choices. Pag ikaw ba nagpunta sa market, may tututok sa'yo ng baril, tapos sabi, ito ang bilhin mo, huwag kang bumili ng ibang produkto. You have the free choice. That's the essence. That's the moral virtue of a free market. Kailangan po akong tumungo, no? Tsaka baka nagtataka kayo bakit walang podium. May problema po yung akin laptop eh. Mahirap po talaga itong namumroblema sa laptop. Still, no? So, what we see here is that people of very different cultures, values, and worldviews can live together. Na hindi nag-aaway sila with this system of private rights and market. No? And there is social harmony. Pag ganun, ano? Hindi tayo nag-aaway nga kung gusto kong mamalengke sa crossing, gusto kong mamalengke sa bayan, gusto kong mamalengke sa bae, or whatever. No? Hindi natin pag-aawayan yun. Pero minsan mag-aaway tayo na gusto kong iboto si, diba ganun, may nag-aaway daw. Diba sa group chat natin, may nag-aaway. May nagtatalo sa politics. But hindi natin pinagtatalunan kung gusto kong kumain ng McDonald's or gusto ko ay Jollibee. It's a free choice. Okay, another moral value of free market is that it promotes a fair society. Under a private property regime, a person who injures another or damages another property is responsible for damages and courts enforce their responsibility. Di ba, pag may private property, we know, we have a system na if somebody even trespass nga or even something like burns your crops. In fact, alam natin to, even in the Bible, is already very clear, no? That there is this rule of law, which is very important, so that wrongdoings are restrained and punished. So, of course, we will talk about the government later. Yung pag-apply noon, medyo kakaiba, siyempre, sa ating bansa. But we know that having a rule of law in a free market system would really promote a fair society. And in fact, this awareness of accountability is consistent with the protection of private property found in the Bible. No? So doon sa Exodus 1-6, hindi na natin iisa-isahin, pero pag may nagnakaw ng ox or sheep, pag merong nanunog, nagkaroon ng damage yung vineyard, even yun nga, yung fires, moving to the other field, may babayaran, no? Nakalagay nga dyan, full restitution. So, it's also very clear in the Holy Scriptures. Another societal value, moral societal value of the free market system is that it promotes a productive society. No? So, increasing wealth is not addition to it, or rather, increased wealth is a net addition to a country's GDP and hence to the economic well-being of that society. Diba, yun yung sinabi natin last time na kung mapapataas natin yung GDP, although of course, kahit baka sabihin ng iba, tumataas ang GDP, marami pa rin mahirap. May problema kasi yung ating structure as far as free market system is concerned. But anyway, what we see here is that yung productive society has more resources to help the poor. Paano natin matutulungan yung mga mahihirap if we are not producing more? If tayo mismo, yung country ay mahirap, no? But countries which are able to produce more are able to help many people in their country and even outside that country. And then of course, produce. So nandun yung tanong na, do we need more stuff? And in fact, although of course that would be taken care of in the moral objection, but just a quick answer is, sabi ng author, we do not need more stuff to survive. Hindi natin kailangan ng cellphone para just to survive. But, ito yung sinasabi dito, but we need it for human flourishing. We'll explain that later, no? Which is, of course, the intention of God for us in this world. No? God wants us not just to merely survive, but really to have a flourishing life. And I think that's clear in the Holy Scripture. Hindi yung parang nabuhay ka lamang, parang kang, yun nga, isang kahig, isang tuka, parang nakakapunta ka lang sa susunod na araw. Hindi ganun ang intention sa atin ng Panginoon. Although, of course, by providence, there are those, even believers na would fall to that kind of situation. We'll even explain that. So, what are the moral objections naman? No? So, we've seen the 16 moral values of the free market system. Pero may moral objections. One is, free market systems do not work. No? Si Obama noong 2011, in fact, parang ibang iniisip niya. Sabi niya, the market will take care of everything they tell us. Nung sabi sa atin, pag yan, meron niyang free market system na yan, everything will be right. But here's the problem, it doesn't work. So Obama doesn't believe it. It has never worked. It didn't work when it was tried in the decade before the Great Depression. Ayon sa kanya. It's not what led to the incredible post-war booms of the 50s and 60s. And it didn't work when we tried it during the last decade. I mean, understand, it's not as if we haven't tried this theory. Free market. But the authors don't believe. Hayaan nyo naman po akong umupo kasi hindi ko makita yung notes. May kode ko po ako eh. But kahit ano po, no? Kahit marami po itong ganitong critics looking at the 2008 financial meltdown, they have not proposed a more decent alternative. Sige, alisin mo yung free market. Anong ipapalit mo? Okay? Of course, what we could probably see is that they're thinking of utopia, a perfect world na ganito dapat, pantay-pantay lahat. Yung free market na yan, dog eats dog, yung very competitive ang mga businesses. That's not the way it should be. Dapat pare-pareho. Would that be a good alternative? Magandang pakinggan ng utopia or the perfect world, but it's not really what we see as the best, no? Compared, say, with socialism, welfare state, or a third way, which probably Obama was then espousing. I don't know what is the Biden economics that they are trying to espouse, if it's still the free market or bordering to socialism. But this is what we would see, or these are some of the alternatives. Mas gusto ba natin yung welfare state? Sabi nung iba, maganda yon kasi lahat libre, binibigay ng gobyerno. But the question there is, saan kukunin ng gobyerno yung pera? And we see that, I think that has been discussed already in the previous lesson, in many European countries, marami na sa kanila, parang welfare state na, but when they're doing the mathematics, computations, mukhang may problema pagdating after some time, hindi na mababayaran ng gobyerno, hindi na kaya, they cannot sustain the continuous giving out of this welfare. And the same case with socialism. Okay. Now, free market depend on greed. Yan yung isa sa mga criticisms. Okay, di ba, kailangan talaga parang dog eats dog mentality ka daw in a free market. But there should be a crucial distinction between what is termed as greed and what is labeled as ordinary self-interest. Self-interest. Question. How do you get your fish, your meat, your bread, and other services like haircut, car repair, or house constructed? Is it by the kindness or benevolence of your fish vendor? Mabait yung fish vendor, kaya, ito, libre. Or yung mechanic mo, dahil mabait, o sige, libre ka na magpagawa sa akin ng kotse mong sira. Or yung karpentero, or yung mason, punta ka dito, paggawa mo akong bahay, pero dahil mabait ka, gawin mo yung bahay ko. Isn't it that in themselves, the fish vendor, the mechanic, the baker, yung hairstylist. Naalala ko si Brother Rex, may special hairstylist yan. Dahil lang mababait, kaya sa ginugupitan. May self-interest kasi siguro malaking magbigay ng tip si Brother Rex. Magbayad, or many of you. Di mo naman, kaya ngayon may paborito kayo, di ba? May paborito kayong service provider. They have their own self-interest, quote unquote. Well, we have to admit that. It could maybe be greed, but we'll talk about that. Meron kasing how this self-interest could be tainted by sin. But the point is, we should understand that the ordinary self-interest na meron kahit sino man sa atin, would of course be important to propel this free market system. Kaya nga tayo, inaalagaan natin sarili natin. Sino ba sa atin ang hindi naliligo, nagtututbrush? Maliban na lang, pag walang tubig ang lark. Tubig na ba ang lark? Marami nagrereklamo pa ngayon. But of course, we take care of ourselves, and we know that that's part of our self-interest. That's part of that has been provided to us by God, and it really helps us. So mahalaga po yun, and we have to distinguish that with greed. British economist Brian Griffiths, ganito po ang kanyang sinulat. From a Christian point of view, therefore, self-interest is a characteristic of man created in the image of God. yung Imago Dei theology natin, no? Inilagay sa atin yon. Possessed of a will and a mind, meron tayo nun, and able to make decisions and accountable for them. Is that a consequence of the fall? No? Talagang nung kinreate tayo, nandoon yun. No? Kaya nga si Eva at si Adan, kumakain sila. Hindi na binigay yung details, but of course, they probably constructed something like where they could sleep, they could be sheltered, etc. Selfishness is the consequence of the fall. So when the fall came, there was this selfishness. And it's a distortion of the self-interest when the chief end of our lives is not the service of God, but the fulfillment of our own ego. So malinaw po yun, no? Meron yung self-interest that we are doing for the glory of God, for the service of God. Think about it, no? Many of us, of course, tulad ng bakit ba tayo tumutulong sa community? Dahil lang ba talaga ang bait-bait natin? No? Meron din tayong self-interest that we were thinking that maybe it would be good for GBCLB na makatulong dito sa mga tao na to. And it's the service of God. And it's not necessarily yung our own ego that is being promoted. No? So, self-interest accordingly is unavoidable. But self-interest might also lead someone to give generously to the needs of others because giving carries its own rewards. Yung sinabi sa Acts na it's more blessed to give than to receive. Greed, on the other hand, is excessive self-interest. Pag talaga daw masyadong matindi, makasarili, ay yun na yung pagiging gahaman. I think tama ba yung translation of gahaman? And it's wanting more than you rightfully deserve or failing to care for the needs of others. But greed cannot be prevented by human laws. And since it's an internal attitude, it can be reduced only with a change of heart coming from the inside of a person. No? So yung self-interest daw hindi pareho ng greed. And if we see, say for example, greedy merchants in a free market, no, violating the rights of others, nakita natin na nandadaya siya sa pagtimbang, nagbebenta siya ng bulok na isda or something like those. What's the reaction of the free market? Diba? You would avoid this kind of merchants. You'll avoid this kind of business. So, in fact, meron pa ngayon yung mga businesses that promotes the green economy. So, these are businesses that would say or promote, we emit less carbon. We utilize, we emit less carbon and therefore we don't pollute much of our environment. So, that's one of their advertisements. So, the free market is just very free to make choices that if they could perceive this greediness, iiwasan nila yon. Okay? Now, meron bang economic system that has ever eliminated greed from every person in a society? In fact, you see this even most manifested in socialist or communist countries dahil talagang there's much shortage of many of the needs there. No? So yung greed talaga ay hindi nawawala. Nandyan yan. But what's important is what is the economic system that would lessen, moderate the greed or channel this into healthy self-interest. So, and ang tanong dyan is what happens when there's freedom and voluntary exchanges? Exactly. If you are free, if there will be voluntary changes, you can just choose which merchants to buy from, and in this case, you can avoid this kind of business na meron. But I think we also need to emphasize the beneficial nature of the free market system, and dahil alam natin, in a free market, there would be competitive pricing. You can choose. And we have to emphasize also that enlightened self-interest could only be done by God, a changed heart. No? So yung greediness ay hindi basta talaga naaalis yun ng kahit anong economic system. It's really the change of heart that would do it. Now, another very common criticism, objection to free market is it results in inequality. Hindi ba? Tignan mo yung mga developed countries, prosperous countries, there are few rich and many poor. So, mabigat na akusasyon yun, di ba? Konti lamang yung mayaman. Tapos, ang dami-daming mahirap. I think this is one of the thesis na sinasabi din ni Brother Rex dun sa kanyang innovation. No? So, kailangan ma-address yan. Now, let's look at the so-called kinds of equality. Meron kasing equality before the law. So, pag doon, pantay-pantay dapat. No? I mean, sabi nga, no one is above the law. Yun ang sinasabi. Kaya daw si Trump ay na-convict. Of course, you may have your own views on that. But that says something very clearly and loudly na no one is above the law. Of course, I don't know in the Philippines if that would be very true, but certainly that's a form of equality. Likewise, equal opportunities. Dapat pantay-pantay ang oportunidad natin. Hindi yung may nakakalamang dahil meron siyang pabor from the powers that be. Ewan ko kung if you are familiar with the powers that be phrase na ginamit ng isa sa mga senador, no? Pwedeng natutwist ang equal opportunity. But of course, equalities are implied in the biblical teaching that man was created in the image of God. So, lahat tayo sa paningin ng Diyos ay pantay-pantay. In fact, even doon sa preaching kanina, lahat tayo pantay-pantay, makasalanan, wicked, ungodly, needing Savior. Well, of course, yun yun. Pero, but that's the theology part of it. But what is economic equality? Ano ba talaga yun? No? So, dapat nating isipin, tandaan, individuals have differing skill sets, levels of willingness to work hard, intelligence, desires, preferences, and admittedly differences in divine providence. Pwede mo sabihin natin kasing galing tayo ni Brother Mel sa pagkukutingting ng mga bagay-bagay. Ako doon lang, bopol na ako, bagsak na ako doon Kasing talino ba tayo ng ating mga academicians dito? Or those working hard. Diba? Iba-iba yung level natin. Sino yung pinakamasipag? Iba-iba yung level of diligence na meron tayo, willingness to work hard even under pressure. And even our desires and preferences magkakaiba. And admittedly, and of course, we have to trust God on this, divine providences. Talagang may magkakaiba-iba tayo. Hindi pwedeng, bakit si brother ganito ay ganun ang ginawa ng Panginoon? Meron siyang ganyan, meron siyang luxurious lifestyle. Samantalang ako ay nagdidildil ng asin at bagoong. But there would be these situations, no? Hindi natin siya maaalis. Has the Soviet Union, Cuba, China created a society or economic system where everyone is equal? Nagkapantay-pantay ba sila? Siguro, pantay-pantay. Nasa gobyerno, Chinese Communist Party, pantay-pantay silang nananagana sa magagarang sasakyan, privileges, and all the perks of being in the government. But the ordinary Chinese? No. Well, who is somebody here like Pavarotti? Can you sing like Pavarotti? Alam ko si Brother Brian, galing kumanta niya kasi may balbas din, Siguro yun ang ginagaya ni Brother Brian. Can you sing like Pavarotti? Alam natin kung magkano binabayaran si Pavarotti. Can you design computers and softwares and all those gadgets like Steve Jobs? And of course, marami pa tayong example, pero naalala ko nung minsan, nagkukwentuhan kami ni Brother Rex, sabi niya, mukhang malay profesyon natin. Kung ginaya daw natin si Manny Pacquiao, baka bilyonaryo na tayo. Eh, sabi ko naman, hindi natin kaya sumuntok katulad ni Manny Pacquiao. Do we have that kind of skill or physique like Manny Pacquiao? We have to admit, kahit tumingin tayo dito, magkakaiba tayo. Hindi tayo pare-pareho ng kakayahan. And there's definitely inequality. And we don't really have to, we may feel about it, but could it be that, sabi nga, nothing is inherently wrong with some inequality? Bakit? No? Kasi kung pare-pareho tayo na mahirap, or baka wala ng investors, we have to be thankful for people who are able to save more and invest. People who are able to think, not the way we think, and could invent many of the comforts that we have in life. So, talagang nandun yun, mangyayari na merong inequality. Of course, sinabi na natin, there is definitely inequality of, sabi ng reference natin, talent, beauty, and of course, nandun na yung providence, ano? But isn't it, ayan, yung green ang ginamit ko, hindi kaya daw, envy tells us that they're always wrong or unfair. Bakit mas guwapo si Brother Rex? Sorry, nakikita ko malapit dito sa harapan ko. Kaysa sa, bakit ganito? You can just think of it. Bakit mas talented si ganito? Bakit marunong siyang tumugtog ng cello ba tawag doon? Galing ni si Eliza? Cello ba yung tinutugtog ni Eliza? Harp. Bakit siya marunong? Ako, hindi ako marunong tumipa ng gitara. Alto, altonado. Differences. Pero, baka naman inggit lang. Baka envy lang. Kaya, we're complaining about inequality. And, can economic equality be legislated? Pwede bang, sige, kailangan magkapantay-pantay. Kunin natin yung mga pera ng mga bilyonaryo, pamigay natin sa mga mahihirap. Would that be a good legislation? Would that be a good incentive for those working hard? So, we know that if equality would be legislated, no? Parang confiscating, ito yung legal confiscation of wealth. Tapos trying to distribute it, it's just distributing what's in there, but it's not producing more that could help the country get out of the pits of poverty. There are, of course, some wrong economic inequality. Merong mga mali. No? For example, ito nga, no? Small, powerful elites manipulate the law. Sila lang yung malapit sa kalan. They manipulate property ownership. They manipulate business license to keep the vast majority trapped in poverty. There are countries like that. We will be discussing that also in a short while. In some countries, free markets also become bad capitalism. This is another objection. And we see this in communism and Marxian socialism. So, for example, China is, of course, we know, dati communist siya, pero meron siyang sariling brand ng capitalism, which is not really a free market in all its essence, because we still see poverty still very prevalent in the country. And in fact, we see now Chinese economy, or the Chinese economic indicators going down. Now, the term capitalism could be misleading kasi meron yung state-guided capitalism or oligarchic capitalism. Let's just quickly define them, no? So yung state-guided capitalism, it is where the government tries to guide the market. So siya nagdidictate ano yung dapat production natin, anong business anong industry ang dapat nating suportahan. So they support particular industries and even individual firms that it wants to become winners. So yun yung state-guided capitalism. Examples would be China, Russia, and accordingly, to certain extent daw, India. And they give many reasons why this approach does not work in the long term. Though initially, it can produce some handsome economic numbers, the hard questions of planning an industry such as who, what, why, and when cannot be answered by top-down government controllers, and attempts to do so usually end in inefficiency, even in chaos. No? And there are just so many explanations that why it doesn't work, but the authors were arguing that state capitalism doesn't really work in the long run. What else? The second kind of capitalism, yung oligarchic capitalism, accordingly, is in which the bulk of the power and wealth in a nation is held by few individuals and families. Kaya nga oligarchic, no? Oligarchs. So, konti lamang ang naghahawak ng kapangyarihan at kayamanan ng bansa. Government policies are designed mainly for promoting a few very wealthy landowners and power brokers. The powers that be. So, it's not distributed, they're equal. So, not everybody is equal in terms of applying the law or even opportunities. Okay. Now, in terms of equality of income, there's this Gini coefficient. Many of you probably would be familiar with this. The Gini coefficient is a standard statistical measure of income, equality or inequality. The higher the number, the more unequal the income would be. And the lower the number, it's more of equal. These are the top countries with the highest Gini coefficient. So, ibig sabihin, pag nandyan yung country, ay very unequal ang kanilang income. Okay, so this is a World Bank figure. So, South Africa, Namibia, Suriname, Zambia, etc. Many African nations. And some of the Latin American countries. On the other hand, these are the top countries with the lowest Gini coefficient. In other words, more relatively equal incomes. Norway, Slovakia, Slovenia, Belarus, Ukraine, Netherlands, Belgium, Iceland, Czech Republic. You probably will be wondering, where is my beloved Philippines? Gini coefficient of the Philippines in 2021 is 40.7. So, medyo pa rin, mataas-taas pa rin. And we know that there is income inequality. And 2024, medyo tumaas pa. So, we see more income inequality. So, so what we see here is that there will be these differences. And you may ask, talaga bang, why is it that there's this bad capitalism? Well, it would be in terms of the government itself, the values that the country is really having. So not necessarily making free market as evil. So oligarchic capitalism is not a genuine free market capitalism because it breeds corrupt leaders who manage to preserve the wealth and income for the inside few. So yung mga malapit lang sa kalan. And capitalism guided by authoritarian institutions like China, it doesn't really work in the long run. Okay. In countries, accordingly, that distribute political power widely and the rule of law, there's the rule of law being followed, there's limited government, ibig sabihin hindi masyadong ang intervention ng government, allowing the free reins of free market and engage in the so-called entrepreneurial economy with genuine free markets where both small and large firms are proactive and innovative. The 21st century will be exciting indeed. Di ba? In-emphasize sa atin ni Brother Rex yung innovation. So magiging silang innovative and proactive if we see powers being widely distributed and the rule of law is really evenly applied and talagang genuine yung free markets. No? And in this case, poverty has little chance to survive. Another objection is yung sinabi natin kanina, do we really need more stuff? No? Well, sabi sa Ecclesiastes, yung love of money, love of wealth, no? What happens to this kind of people? They will not be satisfied with money. Wealth would even be vanity. And in Matthew 16:26, it's also very clear, for what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or another in Luke, you cannot serve God and money. So, talaga bang kailangan natin talagang maraming stuff? Of course, this is really emphasizing more of the materialism, and this is very important. In fact, nandito nga yung dahil ang iniisip ay prosperity and wealth, isn't it very unspiritual? But of course, there should be some clarification. No? Definitely, sabi nga natin kanina, material wealth should never be our highest goal. Neither material prosperity provide us lasting happiness, as we see there in Ecclesiastes in particular. And it doesn't give us the rewarding fellowship with God. But why do we need stuff? Well, the book, the lesson that I'm trying to describe over this time, and will still probably in Lord willing the next few Sunday school sessions assigned to me, would be the emphasis is solving poverty, national poverty. And the country that has the most productive economic system would get out of the pits of poverty. Now, in very advanced country, some economist, si Magdu and Robinson, says in rich countries, individuals are healthier and live longer. I think this is true, and are better educated. They also have access to a range of amenities and options in life, from vacations to career paths. We can see this in, kaya nga daming mga nagmamigrate sa ibang bansa. And of course, these are the things that accordingly people in poor countries can dream of. And they drive in roads without potholes. Pantay-pantay yung karsada. Sarap mag-drive dire-diretso sa freeway ng US. Kahit dito sa expressway, lalagabog ka na lang minsan. Expressway pa yun. Of course, not just trying to be very contemptuous of the Philippines, but dito natin makikita. No? Of course, in other countries, they don't enjoy toilets or electricity and running water. Maliban na lang yung, tulad nga, yung LARC, may problema ngayon. And then the government can provide services, including education, etc. And then there's free election. And they have a voice in terms of political directions. So this is what this kind of rich countries have. Not necessarily the stuff, no? But God wants us human beings not just to survive on earth, but to flourish. I think we have said this. We were created in the image of God, and I think this is a very important theology. And we have emphasized this over and over again. Even our pastor teaching us about man created in the image of God, but of course it was marred by sin. And as such, being in the image of God, we were also instructed to be stewards. Diba? Si Adam and Eve were instructed to be stewards in the Garden of Eden. And as stewards, we have to make good use of resources. Kaya meron tayong kalinga sa nilikha. No? Magmi-meeting yata daw ang KSN. To make us better stewards. Kasi nga, God is expecting us that we don't just survive. Na hindi lang basta mabuhay. Ano? God has given us the fullness of the earth and everything in it. Not to destroy it, but to make good use of it as stewards. And in here, God is expecting us to have human achievements. Look at all around you and you can see well-achieved people. That's part of the stewardship that God has given to us. And He was expecting us to do that. And we can see that with the range of human activity in physical sciences, technology, industry, commerce, the arts, social science, and even what we find in family, community, nation, and church. So we have a lot of activities. Even raising a family is part of what God has entrusted us. And these are all important. God is expecting us to do something more than just be subsistent farmers. So God has entrusted me or us to be stewards. So I think I've said that, human achievements. So we have this drive to understand and create. We're not like the ants or the birds. The birds have, through the millennia, only have nest. Ang tirahan lang ng ibon ay pugad. But what about man? Eh, siguro nung una nakatira sa Bible, tents. Ano? Ewan ko kung caves. Mga, sinasabi ng iba, caves. Pero tents. But of course, ang tents, ginagamit lang natin yun pag nagka-camping. We can see very, very magnificent mansions created by the man who is so creative, endowed with that ability by God. And God created us with limited needs, but also unlimited wants. That's a reality. Initially, that was good, but it was distorted by sin, yung unlimited wants. And of course, we have to realize that this, of course, limited needs, like pag meron na tayong food, clothing, shelter, parang okay na. No? But we have unlimited wants. Noong bang una, panahon ni Abraham, was Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, Jacob thinking of electricity? Were they thinking of faucet running into their homes? Jacob just built wells. Of course, ngayon, tumingin kayo, no? Of course, before, nung kami mga estudyante, we don't know that we need cell phones. Pero ngayon, malimutan mo lang ang cellphone mo. Mainit na ulo mo pag minsan. You didn't think that you would want a cell phone or a laptop for that matter. Kontento na kami noon na naggagawa ng thesis manuscript ni Dr. Cruz, electric typewriter. Bakit ba kailangan pa yung word processing na yan? Eh, ang dali pala pag may word processing. So, there, we have these unlimited wants, but they could be distorted by sin. And in fact, there would be temptations accompanying modern prosperity. I think it was Brother Ian who discussed with us the use of internet, and even pastor, no? It's very useful, pero nandoon yung mga accompanying sins na meron, alam na natin yun sa paggamit ng internet, no? And we have to be very careful sa mga temptations that accompany modern prosperity. Even being workaholic, according to our author. Okay. What else? Okay, so that's an admonition by James. So, talking about the condemnation of the self-indulgent rich. Hindi yung nagbabayad sa kanyang mga workers, talagang tinitingnan lang niya yung kayamanan niya. Even living in luxuriousness, luxury, self-indulgence, and even fattened. Sabi nga, you have fattened your hearts in the day of slaughter. So, yan yung warning sa kanila. Now, accordingly, so bakit, then why do we need more stuff? Bakit ba? Because increased productivity and increased prosperity are not evil in themselves. When we produce, hindi talaga masama sila. No? They are morally good, and they can even provide another way to glorify God. Yun nga, plants and animals, they're just surviving through the millennia, repeating the same over and over again, their life cycle. But humans, being able to glorify God could achieve more than mere surviving. Hindi tayo basta nagsusurvive lang. In fact, we're trying to make our lives better, and even other people have better lives. Kaya nga may mga tumutulong sa atin, nagbibigay ng mga serbisyo sa ating gobyerno, sa ating lipunan. And this is our service. And this is a way we can glorify God by doing much service, producing more goods for our enjoyment and with thanksgiving to God. No? So God gave us this stewardship responsibility. So dapat nating tandaan yun, that we should be able to use them or for His glory, but they could be misused, distorted because of sin. And we have to be careful about that. We were given by God with so much skills, talents. You remember the parable of the talents? So let's use this for the glory of God. And here's another warning for those given to us, or not warning, but admonition that God richly provides us with everything to enjoy. So binigay sa atin ng Panginoon para ating pakinabangan, but not selfishly, but all for His glory. And even everything created by God is good if it's received with thanksgiving. And I think, yun, meron pa namang konti pa pong time for comments and questions. So if you have some comments, reactions, pwede pa po, may konti pa pong time. Doon sa natirang societal values and even moral objections to the free market system. Yes, Sister Jean.
Thank you for the lesson, Deacon Ike. Yeah, very informative. Last time during your last lecture, I asked the question on the relationship between free market economy and the advance of God's kingdom, whether there's a study that would give data on that. My question this time is whether on the relationship between free market economy and international relations, the international policy, as we know. I don't know whether you know, but I know I have read this somewhere. Like U.S. for instance is a free economy, and but it exploits other countries' resources. Inuna, what I heard, I mean based on what I have read, inuna nila to exploit other nations' resources before theirs, so that they can be more sustainable. Yung what they have now, hindi pa nila masyadong ina-exploit. So I was thinking yung mga countries that have free economy, they may have also problematic international relations policy. So baka ganun din po yung maybe that's within the framework of greed, may not be. But yun na nga, whether yung free economy is the one that we really would like to have, if it has this tendency to, because it's prosperous, it has the tendency, may hegemonic relation with nations and countries that have lesser power, lesser resources, and can be considered poor. Thank you po.
Well, of course, doon natin makita yung what we are saying that in the previous lesson, that a free market economy should really protect the environment, and accordingly, pwede natin sabihin, a good free market economy should really protect the environment. Isa yun sa mga characteristics niya. So if ang ginagawa naman niya ay imbis na yung mismong sarili nilang environment na masisira, parang ine-export nila yung damage. It just probably baka si Brother Rex ang makapagsabi nito, yung emissions. So, they continuously emit more, say for example, China is emitting more carbon dioxide. Tapos, of course, other countries are complaining also, bakit nyo kami lalagyan ng cap on emissions, nung kayo ay, during the industrial age, na nagana kayo. Tapos ngayon, na kami ang it's our time, it's our opportunity to be prosperous, you will be putting a cap on our energy requirements, something like that, no? So it's of course very complex dahil we now have a global economy that you can export, parang essentially, no, parang ina-export mo yung damage. And I think that's I think it would be a distortion of what really a good free economy would be, market economy would be, because uh, have the free market economy in the poor country which is being exploited been allowed to take its shape just like the prosperous country, hindi sila dapat pumayag na sila yung sisirain. That's my opinion. Pero nagkakaroon talaga ng dayaan. And I've heard even, halimbawa, for example, in Japan, I did remember, that was in the 80s, you know, they were saying, we're buying more logs from other countries like the Philippines and we're keeping our own logs forest here in Japan. We'll just exploit this later. And I think it's the same form of exploitation and mismanagement of the environment. Kung may sasabihin si Brother Rex, hindi may sabihin. Pero kung wala, tahimik ka na lang, Brother Rex. Pero that could be sa emission at saka yung sa environment. Kung may comments po kayo, gusto nyo dagdag, Deacon Glenn, please.
Yeah, actually, napaka-komplikado ng mundo. Talagang every country, parang tao din yan. I-conserve nyo yung pagkain. Kakainin mo na yung pagkain sa labas bago niya kakainin. So, tama ka, lagi nga sinasabi nila, management is managing the greed. Paano mo i-manage ang greed ng tao to motivate them, to entice them, to redirect their desire para makuha mo yung goal. So, para bang sa karate yan na sabi mo yung energy ng kalaban yun ang gamitin mong pantalo sa kanya. So, it's talagang pakita yung kasalanan ng tao. Talagang unlimited ones. Lagi yung unlimited ones. So, walang mayaman na nagsabing mayaman sila. Kahit si Bill Gates, araw-araw titingnan niya yung stocks niya, gano'n siya kataas. Kahit sinong mayaman, titingnan niya araw-araw ang kanyang stocks, gano'n nakataas. So, gano'n talaga. Tayong lahat ay gano'n. So, mahirap yun. Kaya ang solusyon talaga yung kaligtasan natin. Yun ang surety natin. But of course, we have to deal with what's happening around us. Kami siguro kararating ko lang galing sa Canada sa US, but I still appreciate the Philippines. Sa Canada, dami rin lubak-lubak na daan doon. Nagreklamo nga ako, mas marami pa lubak nakita kahit sa expressway nila. But ang isang nakikita ko doon ay mahal talaga mga bagay. Kung pupunta ka doon, parang sarap punta sa picture. Pag nandun ka, taxi ka lang $100. 5,000, magpa-park ka lang $25. So, wala kang choice eh. Magta-taxi ka ba o mag-o-over ka ba o magpa-park, may dala kang sasakyan. Ang gasolina nila is per gallon is $6 to $7 per gallon ng talagang mahal talaga. Kaya mas maigi pa dito, may 20 pesos ka na, may makakain ka ng turon tsaka makaka-jeep ka pa. But they are controlling also. Ngayon, doon, baliktad. Ang mga white-collar job ay mababa ang sweldo. Sa atin dito sa Pilipinas, sa other developing countries, ang mga doktor, mga PhD, mga teacher, talo sila sa nagtatrabaho sa field, plumber, basurero. Yeah. So, yun ang pang-neutralize ngayon. Maraming mga Pilipino doon, na mga edukado, na magiging blue-collar job na lang. Caregiver ka ba, o nurse ka na lang, o driver ng bus, o driver ng mga truck. So, parang ina-address na nila. Nako-control din sa market economy, na-regulate din ng government. Kaya, komplikado eh. Hindi every bansa iba-iba ang pangyayari. But ang pinaka-importante, lagi kong sinishare, kahit sa mga anak ko, I've just talked to Buboy, yung 3 principle ng economics na maintindihan mo ano nangyayari sa mundo. Ang una ay limited resources. Kaunti ang resources natin. Ang pangalawa, unequal distribution of resources. Ang iba marami, ang iba wala. Kaunti ang resources natin. Pangalawa ay unequal distribution, hindi magandang distribution. Kasama ng kasalanan. Ang pangatlo, ang pinaka-importante, yung sinasabi mong unlimited ones. Kaya kailangan talagang walang taong masabing, ako, magsisweldo ako ng noon, ako, sabi ko, magsisweldo ako ng 20,000, ayos na ako, mapadadala ko na yung anak ko sa... Hindi, pag nandun ka, aakyat ulit, hanap ulit ng paakyat. Parang sabi ko, walang bilyonaryo na sabing mayaman siya. Araw-araw titingnan niya paano niya ma-accumulate ang wealth. But at the same time, hindi natin ma-blame sila. Sila yung nag-generate din ng mga employment. Para lang sinasabi natin, SM, bakit marami silang tao doon? Pag ni-regular natin sila, yung 10 nilang tao gagawin na lang isa. Kung irregular. Pero kung ko-contractualize nila, 10 ang kukunin nila. Para i-equal lahat ay may opportunities. Kaya ang hirap ng mundo. So yun lang ang comment ko. Alam kong ang makakasagot lang yan si Brother Rex. Hindi ka ba? Ayaw yung magsagot eh. At saka si Ate Jill. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, thank you for the comment, Brother Glenn. I won't add anymore unless, yun nga. Yes, Sister Jean. Oh, Glenn, ikaw na raw tatanungin. Kasi hindi ka nag-Sunday school last Sunday.
No, on the first economic principle, within the biblical point of view, do we really test that principle that there's limited resources, that when we know there's enough from God's point of view, we should not be lacking in anything. But because of we don't know how to be good stewards, we are very greedy, we don't want to share. So, baka gusto ko i-test talaga, interrogate yung economic principle number 1 na yan. Kasi from the biblical perspective, we have enough na the Lord is not, we should not be wanting in the sense na may sufficiency ang provision ng God. Yan, thank you.
Parang gusto na sumagot yata ni Brother Rex. Pero si Glenn ang tinatanong mo. Sige bro, ikaw ang tinanong.
Actually, tama naman si Jim. Marami tayong resource, pero ang available at the moment, para bang sa soil yan, nandun ang nutrients, pero anong available at this time? So yun ang kulang kasi sobra ang population natin. Kasi kulang ang pagkain eh. Minsan, sabi ngayon, kulang ang pagkain. Actually, tama si Jim, hindi kulang ang pagkain, ang pag-distribute ng pagkain. Sa ibang lugar, sobrang dami, tinatapon na lang nila kasi sobra. Ang iba naman ay talagang... So, logistics niya ang pag-abagwan doon. But in general, yun na yun, dahil sa overpopulation, kinukulang ang pera. Kinukulang sa economic point of view, in general. Hindi available lahat at the same time. So, pareho. But in general, yun ang kuha ng economics eh. Paano i-manage? Kasi kung unang sasabihin mo eh, available lahat, ay sufficient, ay nga na lang tayo para darating na yung pagkain. So hindi, in other principle, hindi siya nandun pero hindi available for the moment. Kaya ganun na lang. So,
other comments, reaction? Ayan na. Napuwersa na si Deacon Rex. Mag-innovate tayo.
I was in Boracay. Parang ngitin lang kayo.
Boracay.
I was in Boracay speaking in a leadership conference, and I talked about environmental, as usual, environmental management. And I was asked the question, why did you say that one of the problems that we have in environmental management is the inequality, is the scarcity of resources? No? And of course, many of them are Christians, because that was supposed to be a Christian leadership program. And so I said, I clarified myself by saying that, we know that God provided us He created the whole world as a self-sufficient system. Alam natin yan, when God created man, na-set up na tayo eh. He created for us a system that works sufficiently to meet the needs of man, no? But then we know what happened. It got corrupted, by sin, and hence yung system na yan was distorted, it was corrupted in many ways, that resources are no longer available for everyone for many reasons, and that can be environmental, physical reasons such as climate, for instance, lands, that used to be very productive, many lands become unproductive because of the climate aberrations, abnormalities, that result from the distortion of sin, and so on and so forth. So, tama naman yung sinabi niya ni Deacon Glenn, that the sources of inequality is one, unlimited resource because of inequality of distribution of resources, inequality in access to resources, and because of yung pangalawang patlong sinabi niya, unlimited ones, which is basically how it is. No? So, ganon ko rin tinitingnan yun, we have a very limited resources because a lot of the resources that is supposed to be usable for us are now tied up for some reason. Like for instance, water. Water is so abundant, and yet because a lot of our waters are tied up in snow, in ice caps, in glaciers. We only have a fraction of the total water resources of the world. And not all this water actually come at the right time that we need them, and not coming at the right places that we need them. For some reasons, people are judging wrongly, where to put development when their resources are not there. But we know that that's how it goes with development. Development can be done in the desert where it should not be there. Arizona is a big example on that. It should not be there, but it's flourishing now. And because the will of man and the creativity of man, and yet we know how unequal the resources there. But na-level nila yung na-overcome nila yung problem na yun. They develop a water source for their needs, and now development is ongoing there. But it should not be there technically because they don't have water. Now, yun yung reason, and I think it goes all back doon sa sinabi ni Deacon Ike, that this is all an issue really of sin. The free market system is really a good system. If you look at it, any way you look at it, napakaganda niya. Operationally, it should work. It should work, but because of distorted implementors. By the way, you said that we cannot legislate equality. We have a lot of legislations and laws regarding promoting equality. We have Equality Act. It is in our constitution that provides for equality of all men. Merong anti-discrimination law, merong gender and development law that is supposed to protect the rights of women. Meron din Magna Carta of Women, and so on and so forth. These are all very creative policies that are supposed to promote equality. Yet we know that ang problema is actually in the implementors. And those that are supposed to actually obey and be subject to these regulations. So again, it boils down to the sinfulness of man. No matter how very creative and perfect our system is, and we are very good in creating something that is really very good, but when it comes to implementation, that's where we have a problem.
Okay, it's past 12, so I think that should be the last comment. It's economic inequality legislating, but not the other. But anyway, salamat po, at let's close in prayer. We thank you, dear Father, that you have reminded us that you have created us in your image, but in the process of the fall, we saw that this very pure, holy, unblemished, unsinful image was distorted, damaged, marred by sin. And we know that this has brought about so much problems, including how poverty is observed in many parts of the world, including our own country. And so, dear Father, as you have designed us to be stewards, good stewards of all the talents, resources that you have given to us, allow us to be very responsible and accountable stewards that would be making good use of our achievements and these resources, all for your service and all for your glory. And of course, this resulting to how we could help other people. At tunay nga po sana, Panginoong Diyos, na sa amin pong pagtatalakay na ito ay magamit namin ang mga bagay-bagay pong ito upang makatulong sa paghanap ng mas mabuting solusyon upang ang kahirapan sa aming bansa at sa ibang bansa ay matugunan, masolusyonan. Hindi po dahil nagnanais kami ng masaganang buhay lamang po dito sa mundong ito, but because this is what you want us to do, not as a primary task that we become materialistic, but because you want our lives not just to be merely by survival, but truly to flourish. Thank you, dear Father, for this time, the comments, the lessons, and the discussion, and the new knowledge that we got. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.